gentlemen, welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Eddie Signor, and apparently the streaming services are having trouble. Let's break this down. We get to introduce a new buzzword, guys. You ready to learn about the churn? That's right. All right, so the question, and I want you guys to get involved in this one. How fast do you cancel streaming services? Tell me down in the comments below as you hear this story, because I want to do my own research here to see if this is accurate, because it was an interesting enough piece that I wanted to bring it to you and talk about it. So let's learn about this together. So say you sign up for HBO Max to watch The Flight Attendant. The 8-episode series concludes. You browse your next binge fix. Maybe you turn on Wonder Woman 84 or rewatch Sopranos. How long before you go onto your device, subscriptions, and drop that $15 a month app? Is it a week, a month, a day? It's a good question. It's true. A lot of people, in my industry, I keep a lot of the subscriptions going because I need to. The reality, though, is I think a lot of people who are paying attention, like, give a subscription service a try and then don't just let it sit there without paying for it. I mean, rich people do, but I think the general masses don't. So this is an issue that's facing all the companies right now, battling for streaming eyeballs. And apparently during the 2019-2020 studios launched, we know this, Apple TV, Discovery Plus, Apple. Oh my God, there's so many of it. It's crazy. While movie theaters, concert venues, and arenas all continue to suffer. Well, the reason that the struggle is happening is because they're so easy to cancel. It's true. You can actually cancel your streaming service relatively easily. Thank goodness. A lot of people leave after they finish watching the shows that convinced them to sign up in the first place. That phenomenon is known in the industry as churn. Guys, there's your next buzzword that's happening in all these streaming giants' offices. Oh, that churn. How do we stop the churn? The churn. It's a growing headache in the streaming wars, according to a new report released Monday by professional service giant Deloitte. According to their survey of 1,100 people in October, 46% of respondents canceled at least one streaming service in the last 6 months. That's a dramatic increase from the 20% who said it similarly in a January survey that they'd canceled a service in the previous year. Of the people surveyed who canceled a streaming subscription, 62% did so because they finished the show or movie that they had signed up for. The data suggests it's becoming harder for media and entertainment companies to retain subscribers as competition increases. In an interview, so many services available, exclusive content alone isn't enough to keep people on board. Now, I don't know who this Deloitte is. Got to be careful. They're a U.S. tech media and telecom leader. They're just trying to get their name out there. I remember when I worked over at my previous employer, they always try to find. We did one about I've already forgotten it all, but they did this one about like millennials and men graphs and charts about what men are watching. And the reality is, yeah, you can get some interesting data. You can make data about anything, really, if you put a firm and a dedicated person behind it. You can always make graphs and spreadsheets to sort of spin a direction you want to go. So let's take us all with that warning that I can't vouch for them. They do seem to be an actual auditing place. So if you know of them or you can vouch for them, let us know in the comments too. But anyway, let's take their data because there's still data here that they're giving us. So apparently, streaming subscribers reported having an average of 5 services in October, up from the 3 they reported having before the pandemic. Surge in streaming subscriptions may seem like good news, but it also means people are dropping them faster as budgets are strained. Competition for the streaming services shifted to a different level. Over the last few years, the focus was having exclusive original content. It's kind of come down to the user experience and do you feel like a special VIP for being a member. Top services have indeed kept their focus on growing their catalogs of movies and shows. Netflix, which reports quarterly earnings last week, unveiled a 70-movie schedule for 2021 with promotional video promising new movies every week all year. They take pains to keep the steady flow of fresh series coming to services, including Queen's Gambit, Bridgerton. Disney Plus is ramping up its programming with the aim of 100 new titles a year. On Friday, WandaVision, a clever offshoot, blah, 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 blah. As well, HBO Max is moving their whole slate at no charge, same day, to hit theaters, Dune and The Heights, etc. That's why they did this, by the way, because Netflix and Disney Plus have now made it that you're going to get new content pretty much every week. HBO had to step up. How do we compete with that? Executives recognize the fickle nature of the audience. Ant Sarnoff said last week, Consumer Electronics show that streaming businesses force companies to consider measures of success other than box office and other easily easily understandable metrics such as ratings. In the streaming world, it's a completely different set of criteria, she said in her Wednesday keynote. She's just spinning everything that they're trying to figure out. But she was referring to factors including subscriber churn and overall engagement with the service. Westcott predicts companies will increasingly try to improve users' experience on their apps in 2021 by improving the use of data and recommendation technology. Streamers have far greater access to their customers' preferences than traditional TV channels, which also should help them improve how they target advertising if that's part of their business. And I gotta add to that because Netflix's rating system sucks. Talk about biased rating system. They want you to watch everything they have, so they're not honest about what they have. So they make it seem like everything they have is trending and fantastic, but I think that's going to actually be long-term a bad thing for them because we can't trust the recommendations. And eventually, there's going to be so much competition that, look, I just watched that Anthony Mackie Over the Line, whatever the heck, the drone action movie. I was like, all right, this could be interesting. Oh, gosh, so boring. And it's such a problem with a lot of Netflix movies where it's just like, come on, didn't anybody like check this first or like vet it or try to make it better before you released it? And they don't. It feels like they just, you want a movie? Cool. That attitude is still there. Oh, The Rock and Ryan Reynolds and Gal Gadot, you're making a movie together? We'll buy it. Well, please bring it here. There's no sense of quality, which something like HBO Max, HBO has always had. Like HBO had limited stuff, but you sort of knew if HBO is doing something, you could go in and see something quality that you're going to like. And that always meant something, I think. HBO Max is now sort of spreading that stamp that they earned for over the past while. Now HBO Max is putting that to the test to see, is it actually as good? And I think we're going to discover it's not. A studio's filtering system sometimes is important, and Netflix doesn't have it yet. Netflix still, they recommend everything. Do you agree? Let me know. Indeed, free advertising-based services become increasingly popular during the pandemic as paid streamers stretch users' entertainment spending limits. Well-known free services including Fox TV's Tubi and Pluto and Roku reported 60% of respondents say they use an ad-supported service in October, up from 40%. Of those who dropped a streaming subscription, 23% said they did so because they could find the content they wanted to watch on free ad-based video on-demand app, up from 14% who said they did in May's survey. The one thing consumers have told us over and over again is I won't pay more than I used to pay for linear television, referring to the cable satellite bundles, which streaming services were supposed to be a cost-effective alternative. People are finding that ad-supported platforms have good content. So it's interesting because cable, the cord cutting, it's happened. I mean, cable and network TV, they're dead. The studios are now putting all their energy in figuring out how do we make these shows exclusively for our streaming platforms so people can watch them at their, liberty. But the reality is the prices, they're going to want to take that price up to where cable was, because cable was expensive. Let's not forget. And they would bundle all those channels that no one really cared about. The point of the streaming world is like, oh, cool, I only want this, I want that. But now the studio is controlling it. It's just, we're going to end up turning into a digital version of cable before we know it. And then Apple TV is sort of the dealer who's sort of putting all the channels in a place so you can go and they're doing it a la carte in a way. But all those channels are going to start being expensive enough that I wouldn't put it past Apple or somebody to sort of have for $80, you get all the services type of deal to sort of encourage you to do it through Apple. At some point, someone's going to try and bundle these streaming services together, and then all bets are off. But it's interesting. This churn title, the term, it makes sense. I mean, I've kept on them just because I have to watch it for you guys. But have you guys desubscribed, turned off something you signed up for? Share your story down below. Curious about it. I want to learn more, or hit me up on social media so we can gather some of our own data to see, is this actually a problem for the streaming giants to worry about? Is it just because the time of year and people are out of work and people are being thrifty? Or do we think people will start paying? And as these services keep going up and up and up, and each service is $15, it does start adding up. Disney Plus is already going to increase. HBO Max is already pretty costly. Netflix has just added a $1 increase. Give it another year or two, and these services are going to start being more costly to try and justify all the spend they've put into it. How much is too much? I want to hear your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe up in the top left to get more alerts. Hit that little bell. All the stuff you need to do, like smash that like button and watch one of these videos. Thanks, everybody, for watching.